That arpeggio got its start. I took a couple of lessons from a guy named Dave Creamer. He's not a well-known guitar player. He played with Miles Davis on the Corner album. And I found out at one point that he was living in Alameda, I think, which is not too far from Berkeley. And I thought, oh man, what a crazy guitar player. I never knew he was somewhat local. So I went to see him, and it was odd. The whole thing was odd. He was an odd person, really nice guy. But he said something to me when we were jamming at one point about arpeggios and why don't people change the intervals? Why is it always the same 1-3-5? It's some variation of that. And I started to think about, well, yeah, you could do arpeggios that are all based on fifths or fourths, and you could just open it all up. But I also found that playing them was really difficult for me. And this is going to be a long answer, sorry about that. So I'm teaching at this guitar store, and during the breaks, I would be practicing this, trying to figure out how am I going to get these huge intervals happening. And just so happens that one of the patrons of the store is a friend of yours. Is it Lauren Lieber?
Lauren Lieber.
Lauren. So I didn't know who he was. So I come out of this back room at one point, and this guy says, oh, hey, I'm Steve's friend, Lauren Lieber. I've been listening to you doing that thing, and I thought maybe you could do it like this. And he just did it perfectly at like twice the speed. And I was kind of fascinated, but my heart kind of sank at the same time. I realized, I'm never going to get there. That's not me, So I started to think, like, I love the sound of these things, so how can I get to the notes? And as I was writing that song, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the chorus was not a melody, but it was a thing, And when you're writing rock guitar instrumentals, there's this balance between a melodic song that tells a story or more of a novelty kind of a song, maybe like Satch Boogie, something like that. It's got these ensemble parts, a little bit of showmanship involved, but they make for good instrumentals. So I thought, well, all right, it would be great if you could do that thing that you can't, So I spent maybe 24 hours trying to figure out a way, tapping everything. I finally, I came up with the idea of just doing it all with the left hand and holding on to the neck. So we were recording Flying the Blue Dream at the time, and I called up my co-producer and I said, I've written this new song. I want to record it, but I can't play it. So, I looked at the calendar and I said, okay, 3 weeks. I'm going to have this in 3 weeks. And so that's all I did. 8 hours a day as I just played that arpeggio over and over and over again. And then when we got to the studio, I tied a scarf around the neck and I muted the strings with my right hand and sat there and waited for the moment, to play, and didn't think that when I play it live, I have to go to it from playing the melody and the chords and the solo and back and forth, which is an added task, right, in itself, But that's the long history of that riff. And but it came out sounding really great. It was very, very unusual how we recorded it and how it came together, but sometimes it pays off to try something you can't do and figure out a workaround,